Coming up, migrant mass release. A memo shows CBP agents from the northern coastal borders are reportedly asked to help virtually process migrants as the surge is overwhelming the border towns. Congressman Byron Donalds just co-sponsored a bill to ban migrant housing on federal lands, and he's coming up.
Agents across the United States are reportedly being asked to help their colleagues at the southern border. According to a CBP memo obtained by the Daily Caller, agents are now being taken out of the field to sit at computers to process mass migrant releases because there are so many. Florida Congressman Byron Donalds is also a co-sponsor to a bill to protect communities from Joe Biden's failure to secure the border. He joins us now from the D.C. area. Congressman, good morning to you.
Good morning.
You know, one of the things Mayorkas is going to see when he's down there at the Del Rio sector is I'm sure one of his agents is going to come up and say, hey, by the way, boss, did you realize that 21 convicted sex offenders have been arrested in the last 2 months? 21.
Listen, this is absolutely outrageous. This is why so many members of the House of Representatives want to have Alejandro Mayorkas removed from his position. But we have a significantly bigger problem, and that problem is Joe Biden. Let's be very clear. Joe Biden on day one made border policy the way it is. It is destructive of the country. It's destructive of every city, whether you're a blue city, red city, it doesn't matter. It is indiscriminate. And now we have major issues, not just at the southern border, but now at the northern border. And so co-sponsoring this bill with my colleague from New York, Nicole Malliotakis, is the least that we could do in the House. But it is insane that members of Congress have to sponsor legislation to stop the White House from basically housing migrants on public lands,
right,
especially considering all of the disaster that's happened throughout the southern border, throughout our country. It's a complete joke, and it's wrong that this is happening to the American people.
Right, exactly. And you are co-sponsoring that legislation in the House to ban the migrants from being housed on federal property. But you know what? When you were talking about Joe Biden and his responsibility, Congressman, you know who agrees with you? In part, the Washington Post editorial board. They printed this. Democrats might flinch at the proposition, but the Republican idea that it should be tougher for asylum seekers to enter the United States makes some sense. They're right. This administration has made it too easy. You want to come in? What's your excuse? Okay, we'll buy it.
Listen, well, it took them long enough to actually figure out what makes sense. So shout out to the Washington Post for once getting something correct. But look, the reality is that our country, our government's job is to secure the border and to secure this nation and to secure the people of the United States. That is the number one job. And if the federal government cannot do that because you have radicals at the White House and you have radicals in the United States Senate, then there's going to have to be some serious consequences from the House of Representatives. I'm going to be very direct. We have to fund the Department of Homeland Security. It is essential for our nation's security.
Right.
But there are serious questions about why would we give an agency money that doesn't do its job and secure the southern border. I'm not for that. A lot of my colleagues are not for that. Joe Biden needs to do his job, secure the border, and then we could talk about Ukraine and other issues after that.
Yeah, of course, Joe Biden and his people say the border is secure, but you've heard that argument. Congressman, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
You bet.